Sit right down and I'll show you where my dreams began.
I'm Michael Dugan, your culinary host, guiding you through the chef's journey. Join me at the chef's table, where you'll experience stories, secret sauces, signature dishes, and kitchen disasters. So let's talk a little bit about Marsatta as a whole. Can you kind of help us understand what it would be like if we come to visit you? What would your chocolate be like? What would the customer experience be like?
Well, you know, the customer experience for Marsatta Chocolate is very personable. And when I say that, we probably care about more of the people and their lives than we do our chocolate, sometimes probably over the top, because we just love people, you know, we like hearing their stories. And so we have to kind of, you know, reflect and look back, go, well, why did they come into this store? You know, they're coming in obviously for chocolate, but at the same time, they want to hear from us, which is really cool, you know, and we've always got stories. So it's maybe an escape for, you know, our customer, that they get the best of both worlds, right? They get chocolate and they get us as well. So, you know, getting back to that story where we were just manufacturers, that was a lot easier of a lifestyle for us, because let's face it, you work, you know, 7 a.m. till 4 or whatever the hours are, and you go home, you know, right. But we ended up, the kids, I was saying in the story, the kids were playing hockey in front of our manufacturing, and the landlady drove up and didn't like kids or whatever it was, and put a kind of kibosh to that, and gave us a 30-day notice, which kind of turned our lives upside down, you know. And so my wife at the time, we had Emma and Tegan, our eldest daughter and son, and Oliver, but didn't have Dustin yet. She was carrying Dustin, and through all the stress, I'll never forget, we were leaving our house, going to a hockey practice for my daughter, and my wife started having some serious complications and, you know, heavy bleeding and so forth. And without getting too graphic, she was rushed to the hospital, and we had a very short amount of time to get Dustin out. She was in serious trouble, both the baby and my wife. And so he was born at a very, very young age, at 30 weeks, intravesicular hemorrhage of his brain, heart problems. But our spirit continued on. We, of course, in my mind, I want the best health for my wife, make sure she's situated and things are well with her. And over time, she recuperated. But our little Dustin didn't come out of the hospital until 2 months later. So, you know, with the chocolates, I was at the time renting space and selling at farmers markets, you know, just to, you know, get ends meet, you know, sort of thing. So that's how I continued on with Marsatta. And we were kind of on the outside looking in, but, you know, we have a great spirit, and we ended up just doing farmers markets. I rented space again, and until I found this retail spot that we're in now. And I always recall when I first took over this place, this was an old floral shop, and there was literally weeds coming out of the concrete because it sat for so long.
Oh my gosh.
I had vision and just said, I'll turn this into a farmer's market, you know, I'll sell here. I'll take it, you know, kind of like vision, sight unseen kind of thing. I was so excited to find a place, but we were getting into the retail world, and I had no experience in that. We were always B2B, you know, wholesale manufacturing. But for some reason, we made it work, although it was very challenging. You know, we had a lot of challenging times with this shopping center. It's another story and maybe another podcast.
Yeah.
But we're still here. And so now, you know, through COVID, we survived through, thankfully, our following, our customers, and people loving our products.
Oh my gosh, that's a big one for so many people.
A lot of businesses, unfortunately, you know, closed.
I know.
And so we continued on, and now we're moving into a more like a ghost situation where, you know, we do a lot of, you know, online. Our online presence is probably right now about 90%, you know.
Oh, wow.
We get quite a few. Since COVID, you know, you get a lot of people that are just don't really want to go out too much, you know, and I hope that changes soon. But as a business person, I mean, let's face it, I came from sports to business, and I really learned a condensed MBA in my work here, and even more when a whole team of students came in and turned our whole business, not necessarily upside down, but really studied our business. We're really thankful for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A business school came in, and
That's
so we
phenomenal.
know everything.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah. So that happened last year. Was that, Naomi? Yeah. Last year.
Okay.
And so I really got to know everything about business, including, you know, pricing down to the last drop of cream, you know, just different things that I before remember, Michael and Carrie and yourself can appreciate that or this. We're artists, right? We're the passionate side. So
absolutely.
I would much rather hop on a plane or drive in a car and go to your house and give you our chocolates here. Try this, have this, you know,
I get it.
And
I get it.
We're the artists. I don't really care for the business side. I just want to please people and please their palates with our products, our chocolate, right? And it was our coffee, but it was really an eye opener for me because these students came in, they identified what our top sellers are, what people want.
Gosh, that is
and
amazing.
What people want versus what a chef or chocolate maker wants to do is totally different. I wanted to do pain au chocolat, which I was making at the market. I used to bake 100 of those at a market, bring them in, sell them all.
Tell us what that is. For those that don't know.
Oh, pain au chocolat is, you know, it's a very complex, when I'm saying complex, it takes a while to do because there's a lot of resting in between the folds. It's basically a croissant with chocolate in it. Just like, you know, I was saying as a young age, I had the French bread in France.
There it is.
Yeah.
There's the connection.
Yeah.
I always look for that in my guests. I always look for that, man.
Oh, I love making them. It's so much work. It's like a day and a half of work, but when you taste
where your
them,
passion comes from to do this. Do you see that? Do you see
Maybe.
that right now? I see it clear as day because I interview chefs and I ask this question. And it's not just to ask a question. It's what is your soul about? Right?
Yeah.
This is your soul. This is your soul speaking right now.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And also brownies, you know, all with our bean to bar chocolate, you know, it's just the flavor is out of this world, you know.
Wow.
Looking back at that too, and that's how we discovered the 100%. It's our best seller out of any chocolate we can make. So think about that for a sec. This is a 100% chocolate, one ingredient that has nothing else in it. Wow. Who would think as a business person that would be your best seller?
Yeah.
Well, it is. Why is it? It's the first chocolate on earth. We've tasted a lot of chocolates, and I even said to my customers, I'll give you $100 if you can bring a bar from anywhere in the world that'll top this one. I had to back it up with something, or else people just wouldn't believe you. But it's the first chocolate that is not bitter at 100%. Of course, I understand, Michael, it's not for everyone. It's certainly not for me, although now being a recent diabetic, maybe it is for me, you know. But I'll catch my wife in a dark closet any day of the week having that, the 100%. She loves the 100%, but that dark chocolate is just, it's very, very good. It's amazing. But I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for Naomi. I really wouldn't. I'd be like, who buys 100%? Remember when you were a little boy or a little girl going into the pantry and discovering that baker's chocolate for the first time, and it was nasty. You needed to run and get a cup of or a little teaspoon of sugar with that. Right?
I did that. I drank milk. I remember.
Yeah, right. So this is, and it took us about a year and a bit, a lot of thinking. Was it the machinery? Or was it our cacao beans? And when you look back now, yes, a chocolate maker could have the same cacao beans from, different origins. We work a lot with, a lot of Belizean beans. Beans from Dominican Republic, from Ecuador, all over. We never mix them, but we always have different batches,
And actually, one of my guests is attending the Escoffier Institute, which is the first online culinary institute in the U.S.
Online? Where's it based out of?
I think it's New York. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure. But it's all online, right? So all the chefs, she has homework. And I mean, literally, it's really interactive. She loves it. And she's been doing it for a while. She's a food blogger as well. And her name is Kelsey. You should listen to that episode. It's pretty cool. But what I was going to say is she had a few really good questions. And what makes a chocolate high quality?
For me, it's flavor. Yeah, it has to be flavor. There can't be, any sort of bitterness or volatiles or acidity. Unfortunately, there's some people that make chocolate out there that, and I'm talking the higher percentage. Remember, you can mask a lot of nasty taste, flavor with sugar. You really can, So I think the truth serum to great chocolate is the higher percentage chocolates, because you're using less sugar, if not, no sugar, like our 100%. And so flavor must come through in the forefront. It's got to, So for me, that's what high quality chocolate and a high quality chocolate experience is all about. Definitely flavor. So that's what we try and do. So we do both bonbons and bars. So I have experience as a chocolatier first, and now as a chocolate maker. So I love doing different infusions. So we do a lot of beer infusions, lots of beer. Yeah, whiskeys. I've teamed up with Suntory, Jim Beam. We do Japanese whiskeys. We love our Japanese whiskeys. A lot of different whiskeys. We'll do scotches right now. I'm doing a one for a very large company, and it's Bladnoch, which is a Scottish whiskey from the Highlands. Just beautiful. So I'll infuse that, and it's much different. I'm sure you and Carrie have experienced, bonbons coming from, Europe that are full of, liqueur. And you bite into one and it just spills out of your mouth. Ours is much different, where it's incorporated as a ganache.
So that's truly infused.
Yes. So the experience is just amazing when you bite into one of these, and you bite into one of these and just people are hooked, they love it. And for me, it's a holiday every day, because I just love, as any chef does, I just love the reaction from people. It gives me goosebumps when I just look back at their reaction, and especially, I have to say, coming from now, seeing the retail experience in business, in manufacturing, you don't see too many people come in unless they're coming to visit your factory. But truly retail, you see a lot of ladies, and I always tell them I'm a chocolate psychiatrist, psychologist. I understand women in chocolate.
I love that.
Michael, they emit these crazy sounds. They have experiences with chocolate like no other male has ever.
Yeah.
I've never seen. I mean, I've had some that say, "Oh, my toes are curling," and I'm like, "Stand back! I'm a married man." It's crazy. But as a chocolate maker, you must just observe their reactions, and it's truly special. They have this out of this world experience with chocolate where most males, I'm not saying all, but most males,
it's all right.
Usually we eat chocolate and we're like, yeah, it's okay, or it's good, or whatever, and we consume it. But with a female, it's a total experience, and you have to listen to them. And sometimes they don't say anything, and that kind of scares you because you're wondering the worst, right? You're like, oh my gosh, he's not saying anything. What's going on here? But they're truly just experiencing and bringing it all in from their palate, and it just moves down throughout their whole body. And it's just a really different experience to observe this, and I've learned over the years to just watch and just, that's it. I don't have to say anything. And then I just smile, that's it.
What about kids?
Kids. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Different experience.
Really funny. We have 5 children, and they could have chocolate any day of the week. No, they're not too interested in chocolate. Although my daughter, with children, I like to provide and I like to give, and so any child that's coming into our store, they're usually getting 1 or 2 extras, for the kids. I love kids, and so we have 5 of them from age 17 down to 4 years old, and it's really interesting. The 4-year-old little Maya, she loves any day of the week if she can work in the kitchen. She the boys not so much. The boys give them a hockey stick and away they go. But the girls are a little bit different, especially Maya, the younger one. But we'll see what happens with Marsatta. I mean, we're going through some changes right now where I told you about I mentioned the school that came, and it was really really an eye opener for both Naomi and I, because we've gone from a mom and pop to scaling up majorly. And so we really had to change. We had to really change a lot of our thinking, Michael. Where I alluded to you before, where I wanted to make pain au chocolat. I wanted to do chocolate dipped strawberries, because I know these are people react to these things, right? They love it. It's like you guys with your fly fishing, or you guys remember we talked about the figs. These are game changers, right? We love it, right? And so I couldn't do those anymore. And so the students identified 2 products that we got to continue on, and that's what we're scaling up with. So have really come on board with delivery, home delivery, and a lot of things being delivered. I mean, we hear any convenience we can have, we're on board with that, whether it's Amazon or Starbucks drive-through or any other coffee shop. We want things now, right? No one has patience, it seems, anymore. But, so those are great expectations, and people expect that. So we've had to really change our thought process. Instead of, it's going to be ready in 3-4 days, it has to be ready in 1 or 2 days, And so with the advent of DoorDash and Grubhub and Uber Eats and those things, we've embraced those companies, and they're, we use them regularly. And so people order there. People still love to come in and see us and order here, but that won't be for too much longer. We're moving into a ghost kitchen. This ghost kitchen houses a few other, manufacturers, businesses, and we are the first chocolate company in this specific location here. But what it does is they're more fine-tuned with the, those delivery services. So we're going to be on a platform with them, and it just gets, Marsatta Chocolate, the word out everywhere, really. We have a opportunity now to ship locally throughout the U.S., which is huge.
Chef Jeffray, tell us about
Yes.
the origin of Marsatta, the name itself. How did that come about?
Yeah, interesting. With Marsatta, of course, I was dating Naomi then, and we were going on a bus ride from Wilson Park, which is located in Torrance, California, all the way to the Hollywood Bowl in Hollywood. And we were going to watch it was a symphony or something, music to movie kind of deal. And I just thought, I'm going to be on this bus for an hour and a half. I got to make some fun out of it, So I proceeded to get a flask of wine. I think we had a couple glasses. I don't think we drank out of the bottle, and our chocolate, right? And so we started tasting the chocolate. And did we have the wine, Naomi? I don't know, but we certainly tasted the chocolate. Yeah, and we were bringing the wine to the show, to the Hollywood Bowl. And so I had a piece of paper and a pen, and basically Marsatta Chocolate, the word Marsatta is an acronym. So in our minds, we're describing this taste of this chocolate, and it was wonderful. M might have been, I have the paper somewhere. I just haven't located it, but it is somewhere. But M may have been marvelous or magnificent, and A may have been awesome or something else. And so we had all these words, these descriptor words for, how we're describing this chocolate, and brought it all together. And I just thought it kind of sounded Italian. My grandfather's Italian, my mother's from France, but Marsatta had a nice little Italian ring to it. And that's how the name Marsatta came to fruition.
That's really, really cool. So a couple last questions and then I'll take us out. So my niece wants to know, Samantha wants to know, and she was curious, how many types of chocolate are there and what types do you make?
Hi, Samantha.
We'll be back after a quick break.
You don't know what to make for dinner again? You want to explore new cuisines, but you don't have time? What if you have new inspirations and we provide you with the ingredients and recipes? We know you want to travel, learn new foods, explore the world, but life's responsibilities keep getting in your way. What if you can bring those experiences to your home neatly packed into a box? Ladybug Collective is a subscription service that finds real people from around the world to create beautifully curated assortments of recipes, ingredients, and cultural content. Not only do we include cultural ingredients, but also a set of detailed recipe cards with instructions on how to use them. Each box also has a QR code that, when scanned, takes you to tons more global exploration to immerse yourself in. Everything from film to lifestyle, art to history, it all can be found here. Live your life to the fullest. Subscribe now and don't miss out on the next cultural adventure. Ladybug Collective. Always exploring.
How many chocolates do we have, or how many are out there?
She didn't say. So let's just say, how many do you have and how many types, and what types do you make?
Okay, so out there, Samantha may be referring to, white chocolate, milk chocolate, and dark chocolate. We all grew up, with those three chocolates in mind. And of course, with a white chocolate, there's actually no cocoa in there. It is cocoa butter and a whole heck of a lot of sugar and a little bit of vanilla possibly to taste. So that's white chocolate. Milk chocolate, yes, you have cocoa in there, but you also have milk powder in there and a whole lot of cocoa butter as well. So you need that because there's a lot of sugar involved in the milk chocolate. So as a chocolate maker, that sugar kind of bogs down the conching machine. So you need that cocoa butter as an emulsifier. And on an ingredient listing, you may see some form of an emulsifier in there, It could be coconut. It could be, an oil, an olive oil, or, way back when, and still to this day, maybe some soy lecithin, very tiny amount in there, but that helps with the viscosity of milk chocolate. Then, of course, our specialty is the dark chocolate, as a chocolate maker. So ours range from, we actually do a 55% goat's milk, which is really cool, right up to 100%. So, when I did listen to my wife, Naomi, about the 100%, we had an 89%, a 74%, a 63%, and then a health bar. We have a 82%, which is a super Ray bar named after my late father. It has 33 different superfoods in it. So it was really cool packaging where all the superfoods are listed on the actual packaging.
Okay, wow.
Because there's so many on it, and a bar is only so big of a size, right? So that was really cool. So that's the difference between the three chocolates. Now, the question as far as what we do, remember, I was a chocolatier first and then a chocolate maker, right? So as a chocolatier, for those that don't know, you import blocks of chocolate and you make beautiful things. As a chocolate maker, you import cacao beans, and it's a whole heck of a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun too. You're roasting beans to a certain profile. You're winnowing beans, which is taking the chaff or the skin off the cacao bean, and it turns into a nib, which then goes into a conching machine and then made into a chocolate liqueur, and then that's when that's when you add your, whatever ingredients you're using or wanting to, if you want to make a 74% chocolate bar, for us, it's 2 ingredients. It's the cacao, the nibs, and then, of course, the organic sugar. So it's a 74% cacao, 26% sugar. So 74 plus your 26 is your 100. So we don't use an emulsifier in those high percentage bars. It's just 2 ingredients in it. And then, of course, the 100%, which is easier for us to do, which has just the 1 ingredient in there. So thanks for the question, Samantha. Love it.
Australian chef Gunawan, who's become a great friend of mine.
Hi, Gunawan.
Gunawan, yeah, he's amazing. You might have seen him. You might have seen him on Clubhouse before. But
I did see his name, and I just got to do some more investigation when I have some time. Absolutely.
He's an award-winning chef, and he actually created a pastry or a chocolate. I think it was a chocolate dessert in a competition in cooking school, and he was really young.
Nice.
But he won over 30 other chefs because he was so creative, and he breaks the barriers down. Like, he comes up with unique flavors that are sweet and savory, right? Kind of like using liquor. So he said, do you use spices in your chocolate?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Really interesting that some of the bonbons we make, one of the first real hot spice we used was, of course, ghost pepper. And then I wanted to push the bar even more, although I'm not a big spice guy. I got my goggles on and my gloves, of course, and started cutting. Can you imagine that? The visual on that?
That's amazing. I know.
Michael, and then cutting up Carolina Reaper. And that is so hot. So I carefully, after making the shell, so think of when you're making a chocolate bonbon, well, you reverse it, right? So the top is now a bottom for the chef or chocolate maker. And so when I create the shell and it's empty, I place gently a nice piece of Carolina Reaper in each bonbon. Okay. And then I'll fill it, for instance, with caramel, right?
Sure.
Caramel. Pipe it in there and then seal it. And it is a hot party in your mouth, let me tell you. Yeah. But just one piece. I don't want it too overwhelming, but it's enough that when people taste it, they're like, okay, it's a little bit of a delay. They're eating the chocolate. Okay, hang on. Yeah. There it is. And then they have it, and it's like, okay. And it's an experience that continues to harvest in their mouth, and the warmth kicks in, and it's just a beautiful, warm experience. Yeah, all over the upper portion of your body. Yes. Isn't that a great way of experiencing, or at least describing that, Naomi?
Oh,
she likes the hot stuff. I'm more I'm more of a wimp. Yeah. I like my simple coffee.
I think it's really cool to have a variety, you know, and because people have different kinds of taste. So as we take things out, are there any Oh yeah.
But one more, Michael. I got to tell you, we talked. So another spice that's I think more dear to Naomi. She loves the spices because she's a coffee roaster, and she loves experimenting with flavor as well, right? And I try and shoo her out of the kitchen because, remember, we're a married couple, right? We have 5 kids, and that door is my domain. That's my kitchen, right? And I love creating there. I love her to death, and I think our relationship would be even stronger, even more stronger than what it is now if we didn't work with each other. But we're with each other all the time, right? So you got to kind of be careful with that. And that door is our kind of magic kingdom. You know, she works the front. At a time she was a coffee judge. She knows flavor. She really does. And I'm in the back creating, right? And so there are many different teas. She actually was the one that created the lemon robust and the Hawaiian fruit blend and the the pure teas. That was Naomi's doing. Her doing was also the 100%. That wasn't my doing, but those are great bestsellers for us, you know. So, but she loves different spices. We did a I'm trying to think of the one that I loved doing was the from the tea. But it was a toasted coconut oolong black tea. Wasn't that something?
Yeah, oolong
strong.
Is a very, very unique.
Yeah,
it's strong, and it's
amazing
really
flavor.
Neat flavor. And then we had a coconut. We did this. We had experience with the Thai restaurant that brought on coconut more so in teas or in the ideas, because they have coconut a lot of times with their sauces and their flavors. So
our chocolates were right on their menu. Yeah. And we're actually doing the same thing with not in Chinatown, but the Japanese town in Los Angeles at the Far Bar. We're going to be soon collaborating with them, and we're going to have our chocolates right on their menu, and we're going to be doing a lot of different whiskeys, infusions, and so forth. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Our liqueurs and our infusions are so smooth and natural tasting that it's amazing how it comes out, or how you're tasting it when you're eating a bomb. That it's really unique and fun experience.
Well, it sounds like too, from what you guys have shared, is that you don't cloud it with anything. You know, it's very pure, and so the flavors are so unique.
Yes. Thanksgiving, we did a cranberry and gravy, and I kid. And again, it wasn't something I came up with. It was our team. You know, our team suggested. They said, "Listen, you got to do things that are outside the box that people go, what? The head scratcher." You know?
Yeah, that's why you will love Gunwan. You have to follow Gunwan. He is. He's a lot like you. He's so passionate.
That's awesome.
And creative. I think you should. I'll introduce you to him. I'll send an intro, because he's really awesome, and he's very connected. Like, he loves to connect with people around pastry and baking and stuff. And so who knows where that would go, you know? So the last thing, how do our listeners connect with you?
You can find us, of course, Marsatta.com. Yeah. Marsatta.com. And then we're on all the social platforms, you know. Facebook is Marsatta Chocolate. Instagram, we have a lot of vivid pictures there. That's also Marsatta Chocolate. We do the LinkedIn. We have Pinterest as well. And then recently the TikTok stuff, So
Okay.
well, that's us in a nutshell. And like I said, I'll never forget, how we really met is me listening to you, talking. And I actually think you weren't even talking on Food is Religion with Chef Mimi. It was with Jennifer on Food and Beverage Magazine.
Yeah, I think it was.
And I was riding my bike and I was listening to you, and then I sat on a picnic bench and continued to listen to your story. And I'm listening to, and now it's pretty unique with the Clubhouse. Right. It's audio, much the same as a podcast, which is brilliant. And I'm listening and I'm like, oh, this guy sounds like a really nice guy, and I'm listening to your story. I'm like, oh yeah, I know that you're describing these different stories, and I just enjoyed it. And so we, you and I kept in touch and I hope one day that we will actually, meet in person and Carrie will be able to taste our chocolate. We'll definitely send some stuff up to you guys, and then maybe you guys will point to the sign too and say, let the chocolate speak for itself, because it really is very unique. When I sent some stuff to New York last week, and I always send the 100% bar besides the lower percentage bars, because that's kind of our calling card, that it's the true serum to chocolate, that if a chocolate maker can make a 100% bar that is not bitter, that it doesn't have volatiles, you got to be onto something, so it's really cool. So we try and put that in there as well.
So Chef Jeffray, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been my dream to interview a chocolatier, and you made that dream happen. And I can't say how grateful I am.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you interviewing both Naomi and myself, and us being able to share some memories that I look back at now and I just smile, and I'm like, wow, that was some good times, and I hope the world has, we can be offered some even more better times, it's been a tough world we've been living in, and my message is just take care of one another, and be kind, and we're going to do it through chocolate. So I thank you, Michael.
Thanks for joining us today. Follow us on Facebook. Find our website in the show notes. Subscribe on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen. Leave a comment with 5 stars, and stay tuned for the next episode of Voice4Chefs.